You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
You're now listening to Sports Coma's Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. And today we'll be covering the Pelicans' 112-103 loss to the LA Clippers. The Clippers came to town and took it from the Pelicans by 9 points. A very interesting game. The very first game after DeMarcus Cousins' torn Achilles injury that put him on basically on the bench for the rest of the season. The healing bench, that is. And we got an interesting story we're going to cover in that, but we'll do it later on. But first, we'd like to give you a round of applause for joining us on podcast 142. That's right, 142. So thank you for joining us in today's Pelican postgame report. And the rundown brought to you by the good folks at theposhlifestyle.com, www.theposhlifestyle, life spelled with a Y, Lyfe style.com. Not just a website, but a lifestyle. You can check them out for water filters, organic supplements, music, hair, organic soaps, organic toothpaste, organic shampoos, all kind of great products available at theposhlifestyles.com. So check them out when you get an opportunity. And with the coupon code, the Sports Coma, all lower caps, you can get 10% off on your final purchase. So check them out at theposhlifestyle.com. Not just a website, but a lifestyle. Rundown, the Pelicans, of course, they lose 112-103 to the Clippers. We're going to cover that with stats, facts, and breakdowns, of course, as usual. We also have an interviews from Coach Gentry, his take on the game. Jrue Holiday and Darius Miller will chime in as well to discuss the topics of the game and what they thought about the loss to the Clippers. We'll also have some injury news going into the DeMarcus Cousins injury situation. We'll cover that and give you an interesting take from Bleacher Report's Tom Haberstroff, who put out an article yesterday covering this injury, and it'll give you an interesting take on the DeMarcus Cousins Achilles injury that sidelined him for the rest of the season. And we knew the Pelicans had enough this year if they remain healthy for the rest of the season, for the very least make the playoffs. But having Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis together was obviously an opportunity to push past the first round, not just making the playoffs, but make a little noise when you get there. We'll cover that as well. We're also going to talk about the Pelicans' move going forward here, meaning there have been a number of interesting articles and rumors spreading about from players from the Moose, Earl Monroe, from Monroe to Michael Beasley. I've heard articles and whatnot. We'll go over a few names that the Pelicans could possibly use, because I know they work in the phone lines right now trying to find some help for Anthony Davis moving forward. This definitely throws a wrench in the system, and they got to make moves very fast before that trade deadline of February the 8th to make things happen. We'll get into that. And then we'll preview the Sacramento Kings on the next game coming up against the Sacramento Kings on Tuesday night. Hopefully the Pelicans could put something together here and attempt to kind of not salvage this season, but keep the momentum that those guys had worked so hard to ascertain these last 8 contests. And that'll be the rundown right there. Now let's jump right into it. The first topic dealing with DeMarcus Cousins. Excuse me, not DeMarcus Cousins, but the LA Clippers win over the Pelicans. 112-103. Of course, this was an interesting game to get down to the meat and potatoes of it, because the Pelicans started off with high energy in the first quarter of the game. They put up 34 points. The second quarter, of course, they put up 28 points. And they were looking really good in the first half going into overtime. They were looking real strong. Then all of a sudden, it just came apart, man. They became what they were prior to taking control of that third quarter. They put up 15 third-quarter points while allowing the Clippers to put up 29 points. And then the Clippers just kept it going. Once they were able to establish their offense, Lou Williams, who was struggling most of the game, then caught fire in the second half, and then just put them together. Then there was obviously Blake Griffin, who was outstanding as well. He came alive in the second half, and Lou Williams and Blake Griffin equals against what the Pelicans were doing. It was a stretch, and I could not believe it. I had to look at the statistic on that. In the third quarter, where the Pelicans missed 20 consecutive three-point shots during a certain time frame in the third quarter, where they were just jacking up threes, man, and it was – I mean, they just turned it off, and I just didn't understand why Gentry was allowing the team just to jack up three-pointers like that. Was like, why you not get up off your butt and call a timeout, tell them to attack the paint, do something. Just don't let them jack up threes. And ultimately what that did, the Clippers took advantage of that and started their runs, and that ultimately they couldn't stop them at the end. They ended up taking the game 112-103. But before we get into more statistics, which I'm going to tell you about these horrible three-point statistics the Pelicans put up against the Clippers, had they attacked the paint in that third quarter as opposed to jack up all those misguided three-pointers, it would have been a different game. They could have powered through this difficult Clipper team. This Clipper team's not a sucker chump team. This is a very real team. I mean, early in the year when we looked at this team, a lot of people picked the Clippers to be in the playoffs as opposed to New Orleans being ranked 10th to get 2 spots out of the playoff race. And the Clippers, led by Blake Griffin, and then they had a couple of injuries to other key personnel, and some of those guys still trying to work their way back. But they got good enough guys, and Doc Rivers have those guys playing very, very feisty. They beat a bunch of really good teams, Golden State, and they challenged a bunch of teams that's better than the Pelicans. So they were able to climb out the hole that they were and get back over 500 with the win against New Orleans. But before we get into more statistics, let's listen to what Coach Alvin Gentry had to say after the game.
You know, we didn't make shots to start the quarter, and we let it affect our aggressiveness defensively. And so we've got to get past that. I thought the first, especially the first quarter, I thought we were real active defensively, and because of that, we were able to run out and get some easy baskets, and our ball movement was great. And then the third quarter, we missed some easy shots, but we have to go back and try to do the same thing that we did defensively in the first 2 quarters, and that's guard, be aggressive, and try to come up with stops. And we weren't able to do that, and then obviously we struggled the rest of the way to score.
Coach, when those threes weren't going in the third, did you hope or urge your team to go back toward the rim after, I think it was 11 missed threes?
Well, I think we got to shoot the shots that's going to be available, and that's what we've done the whole year. And those are shots that's very makeable. If we make them the next game, then we would be sitting here talking about, the open threes that we made. So, it's the game of basketball. We have those shots. Yeah, you have to step in and make them, and if you don't, then you got at least we got to get back and be able to guard defensively.
Well, looks any different without DeMarcus, or were they mostly open and you guys had made?
We got open shots. We would take those shots again. The problem that we have is that they didn't go in, and so to say we shouldn't take those shots, and now we're driving the ball in to traffic. Those are the shots that are available to us. You got to take. If we don't take those shots and we drive the basketball, we're going to be driving it right into traffic. So we've got to make those shots, and I think we're very capable of doing it. And it's one game without DeMarcus, so it's a tale of two halves. We've shown that we can get out and run and keep the pace of the game up and do some things, and then we've shown that we struggle some when we don't have that inside presence that we can throw it to some. But we're going to be fine. We'll go back and look at the tape, and we'll learn from it, and we'll move on to the next game, and we'll have to, obviously play better the second half than we did right here.
Do you think that AD maybe needs to be a little bit more aggressive, or do you think he was giving it up when the
Yeah, you got to understand one thing. When you say more aggressive, he's not going to play against 2 or 3 guys. That's the challenge right now. We don't have DeMarcus out there, so he has 2, 3 guys on him, and all he's doing is he's making the right basketball play. He shouldn't force the ball up there and take bad shots. He plays the game. I think he ended up with 8 assists or something like that, 6 assists. They're not going to allow him to go one-on-one because they know what kind of player that he is. So when they run another player after him, he's got to be willing to make the right play, and that's what he is. He's a good basketball player that made the right plays, and if the shots go in, he probably would have had 12 assists. So we can't start trying to make him be this thing that he's not. He's not going to be a guy that's going to force shots and try to get up 25 shots or 30 shots. He's just going to play the game like he always has, and we're going to be okay as a team. We didn't make the shots the second half that we made in the first half, and we struggled. We struggled, to score. But we have to, like I said, still pick up our defense and guard like we did, and then we have to come up with some easy baskets, get in transition and get easy baskets.
Would you feel nervous playing him 40, 41 minutes, or do you feel like that's what you're going to have to do right now?
Listen, guys, if he's tired, he tells me, I would like to play him 28 minutes, but that's not feasible to do if we want an opportunity to win. And so that's just the way it is. I don't know what you guys, if I don't play him 41 minutes and we lose by 10, are you guys going to sit here and ask me why wasn't he in the game more? I mean, I don't understand it. We're a team that's trying to win games, and we got to play the guys that we think can help us win games. That is the bottom line. I mean, that's it. I don't understand what else you want me to say or do. I wish that we could play all of them less minutes. I wish we could play Jrue less minutes. I'm sure Cleveland wish they could play LeBron less minutes. He's 50 years old and he's playing more minutes than anybody in the league, except for one guy. And so you take your team and you look at the personnel that you have and you try to put the best personnel out there to win. And it's the same thing we did with DeMarcus. If there's any insinuation that we played DeMarcus too many minutes, then so be it.
What did you think about some of the rotations we talked before the game about him without Cousins? What did you think about it tonight?
I thought it was fine. Omir came in and gave us some good minutes, and we're a smaller team obviously when we moved Darius to 4 and Dante, but Dante played well for us and gave us some good minutes. And it's one game.
That's
so
Coach Gentry, as you can see. Yeah, he kind of controlled being upset, but kind of didn't allow himself to kind of flare out. Had made a lot of good points. And I think the reporters asked some pretty good questions to Coach Gentry about why Anthony, about the jacking up of shots and the stuff like that. Coach Gentry's right. They're not gonna make all those shots. But come on, man, let's keep it real. A lot of those shots that they were taking when they had those string of missed 3-pointers were bad shots. They were bad shots. Now, he had a few open shots, but that's to be expected. I mean, Darius Miller struggled horribly this game. He was 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 6 from downtown. Every shot he took was a 3-pointer. He was 1 of 6, finished for 3 points. He wasn't a help in this game. You had other guys that came in to play who usually knocked down shots. You had Jameer Nelson, who was 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. He finished with 5. These are bench guys. Ian Clark had 20 minutes. He was 4 of 8, 1 of 3 from downtown for 9 minutes. DeAndre Liggins, who's really starting to get a little burn here, he had 16 minutes of play, 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from downtown. He had 5 points in the contest. And he right. Coach Gentry did obviously play Omir Asik for just 7 minutes in the game, and he was only able to give him 4 points and 3 rebounds. And that's the thing. The guys asking, are you playing Anthony Davis too much? I've been saying all season long that he's playing these guys way too many minutes. And the comment that he made during the interview about getting comments thrown his way about playing DeMarcus Cousins too much is because of an article that Tom Haberstroh of Bleacher Report had wrote about him yesterday. And I feel, you can go and check it out. That fatigue likely contributed to DeMarcus Cousins' injury. And we've been saying all season long, first of all, Gentry is under pressure to win. He's under pressure from his boss, the general manager, who's under the pressure to win from higher ups, and the owner on him to win these games. So what does he do? He has to lean on DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis by giving them heavy minutes. My problem with that is if you need to play them heavy minutes, that's fine. But don't walk around here with 8-player rotations. If you got a team of 12 NBA players that your general manager gave you, why are you not playing these guys more? Why are Sheik Diallo not playing any minutes? Why is Amir Asik plays every 3 or 4 to 5 games when he's a veteran NBA center that makes $10 million a year? A lot of this stuff, you bring it on yourself. If you'd have just gave some of these guys more time, we wouldn't be sitting here looking at the fact that now you need to adjust your team midstream because of an injury, more than likely due to fatigue. But we'll cover more of that, more of this game, and more topics on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network. Stay with us.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to the poshlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Welcome back to the Pelican Post-Game Report with the PRO Media Network. We are recapping the New Orleans Pelicans 112-103 loss to the Los Angeles Clippers in the Smoothie King Center on Sunday night. And we just played Coach Gentry. As people was asking about Anthony Davis's minutes, of course, Gentry probably had enough of that. But guess what? You're gonna get enough. You're gonna get plenty of that, sir. Looking at some of the statistics by Anthony Davis in this game and the box scores, Anthony Davis scored 25 points in this game. He had 17 rebounds and 6 assists in 41 minutes of action. And it was at one point in the game that Anthony Davis actually landed on the ground and stayed there for a while, and you could hear the collective gasp of Pelican fans all across the nation when you just lost DeMarcus Cousins to an Achilles injury, and then Anthony Davis is laying on the ground after a slip, wet spot. He was driving to the basket against DeAndre Jordan and slipped on a wet spot and went down awkwardly and man, it's too painful to even think about if you lose him at any point of this season. You have just Jrue Holiday, who actually put up decent numbers. He had 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. So Jrue Holiday was close to a triple-double with 37 minutes of action. And then there was Etwan Moore, 7-11, 1 of 4 from downtown, 18 points. And those are the only 3 Pelicans in double figures against that Clipper club led by Blake Griffin's 27, 12, and 7 assists. And, of course, you had guys like Lou Williams off the bench, 35 minutes, 9 of 22, 2 for 10 from downtown. He lit them up 22 points to help contribute to the win. Let's listen to what Pelican Jrue Holiday has to say about the loss to the Clippers. Here's Jrue.
I don't know. I think we played well this game. I think we kind of got burnt out there for a little bit, but DeMarcus does a lot for us. Rebounding, passing, pushing the pace. So it might, but still think that we could have won this game.
What do you take away most? I mean, the first half, you guys offensively especially have a really good half, and third quarter happens the way it does. But I mean, how do you dissect this game and take away from it to be able to move forward?
Well, I think the third quarters were like that even with DeMarcus. I think we got good shots, but especially today, we got a lot of good wide open shots, the ones that we want. But I think they're all short. That's why I think our legs were a little sluggish. But I mean, really, we just got to go back and watch film, see what happened.
With the 3-pointers in particular, you think it's just a matter of getting good shots and they weren't falling, or
Yeah, I think we got a lot of wide open shots, and I mean, I think a lot of them missed short, some missed long. I think AD missed a lot in the beginning, even around the basket. So, yeah.
How do you view what you have to do offensively? Is it a different role for you now, knowing you have to cover some of those points that DeMarcus had, or does it you just want to continue to play the game that you've been playing the last couple of months?
Just continue to play. Again, I trust my teammates, and they pick up the slack. Obviously, we got a lot of good shots in transition, and especially in the first half, and a lot in the second half, but just missed. But just to be able to play my game and stay consistent, I got to rebound. I got to rebound a lot more, and I think I did that tonight.
Mentally, do you feel?
I'm sorry. Just the whole season. What's kind of been the problem you think in the third quarter? Not just this game, missing shots.
I don't know. It's a good question. I think a lot of times we get a lot of good shots, but they're jump shots. For the most part, we need to start attacking the basket, kind of like we do in the beginning of the game. But, yeah, I feel like sometimes teams give us their jump shot and we take it, and we might miss it. And from there, they come down and hit. So.
Did it feel like more of the defensive attention was kind of shifted over to you and AD with DeMarcus gone? Is that something you guys are going to have to adjust to now for the rest of the season?
Again, I think it's a full team thing. Again, a lot of the slack is going to be taken up from other guys like Darius and Dante and DeAndre. So, again, I feel like me and AD play defense the way we always have since we've been together. Try to be intense on the ball. Try to make it difficult for people to shoot threes or at the basket. So,
not at all based on the play today, but do you feel like emotionally and mentally this team has gotten over losing DeMarcus and they feel like they're in the right mindset moving forward?
I think we came ready to play. I think we gave ourselves a chance to win.
It looked like, they tried to take AD out of the game. Obviously, that's what people are going to do now, especially with them without having DeMarcus. Are there going to be adjustments maybe that you see already to create more easy opportunities for him at the basket or more post-up opportunities?
Again, I think he had a lot of them today. Even with DeAndre, I think they just went one-on-one, and that's how they defended him. And he just missed some bunnies. His mid-range game is impeccable. I just think he missed a couple of them tonight, but AD will figure it out. We'll figure it out. I don't really think that they doubled him really like that for us to adjust yet.
What do you think of that second unit? It looked like you guys were able to play well together, considering you guys haven't played together at all.
Oh, yeah. Guys playing hard, playing for each other, and just moving the ball, trying to push the pace. Again, we played really well in the second half, and we got to be able to carry that over.
That's Jrue Holiday giving his commentary on the game, saying that we came out ready to play. Coach Gentry said it was a tale of two halves, like tale of two cities or something. But listen, let me tell you something. Anybody that watches the game of ball, especially pro ball, knows that the Pelicans were really jacking up way too many shots during that third period as opposed to attacking the basket. I went back and looked at the film. They had opportunities to attack the paint. I think they gave a guy like DeAndre Jordan way too much credit. Anthony Davis, at one point, they had DeAndre Jordan way out at the three-point line. Now, he's one of maybe 3 or 4 bigs that can actually guard multiple players. He's a big guy, about 7-footer, who has the ability to move laterally to stay with most players. They were able to draw him away from the basket when Anthony Davis was at the top of near the 3-point line, maybe 18, 19 feet away from the basket. DeAndre Jordan would come out and meet him. So they had opportunities to drive the paint. There really weren't any other. Well, you look at Blake Griffin, who's mostly a defensive stopper, who has the ability to roam. So they have two really mobile, big guys that can cover a lot of ground. But from what I've seen, they had opportunities, and they'll go back and look at the tape and say the same thing. We had opportunities to attack the paint, to get to the cup many times. Looking at some of the statistics from the breakdown dealing with the Pelicans, they finished the game shooting 45%. They were horrible, 9 of 35 from the downtown, jacking the ball up for a miserable 26%, 18 of 25 from the free throw line for 72%. They finished the game with 56 rebounds, 23 assists, and, of course, they turned the ball over 15 times for 13 points. But also the Clippers had 12 turnovers for 13 points as well. And you look at the fast break points, the Pelicans actually did way better, 20-8, but they were out-rebounded. They lost the paint war, 52-46 to the Clippers in that matchup. So I know that you look at a lot of stuff. You deal with this team. You face this team, a team like the Clippers, who are a very feisty team. The Pelicans really had this game. One thing they had to do was kind of step on these guys in the second half by attacking the basket. They did not. With Jrue Holiday said that a lot of the other guys will have to step up. They'll have to step up. I don't know what you're going to get from a guy like Dante Cunningham, to be honest with you. Some games, I see him missing underneath, he get under just reverse layups, easy dunks. I just don't know about Dante Cunningham. I just think it's a bad idea to come out and play him at the 4 position and then move Anthony Davis to the 5 position. We know what happens when Davis plays at the 5, but he feels like that's the best lineup, the small ball lineup, to give him an opportunity to win. Amir Asik doesn't play that much. He plays every 3 or 4 games. He makes $10 million. I've been beating this horse. What's the problem with Sheck Diallo? Why isn't he doesn't get any? He just sits on the bench. I think Sheck Diallo is a young forward that can come in and help you. I think he's a high energy guy. He can come in and get rebounds offensively. He got a pretty decent offensive game. I just don't understand why he's not used in any capacity whatsoever. How about letting Mike James get an opportunity to play before his 10-day contract runs out? Let's see what the guy can do. We've seen him at Phoenix. We know how spectacular and explosive he is at Phoenix. Maybe you need to start incorporating that guy into the system, because you sign these guys and you just let them sit all the time. And I just don't get it with Sheck Diallo. He's been there for 2 years, and you mean to tell me he doesn't earn at least 5 minutes of play? Then you're forced to play Amir Asik for a great 7 minutes of play. 7 minutes, for real. Let's see what these guys could do, man. Let's see what these guys can do. Amir Asik, the least you could do is let's get him in there. Let's try a lineup where you play him and see what he does for you. Let's see if you give him 20 minutes, what goes on, and build him up. If we would have played him regularly, we could have had something. We could maybe have gotten him into some type of rhythm, got his confidence back up perhaps. But it's taking too long. You have to utilize the guys that you have. He did run a 10-player rotation this week because of the injuries to DeMarcus Cousins. But I just don't think that if these bench guys got to step up. The bench lost against the Clippers today, 34-26. The bench is going to have to win some games to work as a unit to kind of reproduce some of those numbers DeMarcus Cousins has. And if they don't, you're going to be laying a lot of pressure on Anthony Davis, and that ultimately will lead to disaster for the team. If he goes down, then you have no choice. You got Jrue Holiday to carry the team, and Etwan Moore underneath him and Rajon Rondo. And you're going to be in a desperate situation then. But we know Dale Demps is working the waiver wire, trying to see if he could find somebody to kind of help this team out. Boy, what a situation they have. But anyway, the Pelicans lose this game 112-103 to the Clippers, and now they are facing, a very peculiar situation. Let's move on for that and go into a couple of stories that we're going to cover, other topics. Story written by Tom Haberstraw of Bleacher Report. is titled, and you can feel free to go Google that. It's fatigue likely contributed to DeMarcus Cousins' Achilles injury. And he has a very lengthy article where he talks about what happened, the devastating injury that occurred to DeMarcus Cousins. And he introduces a study that was done back in 2015 by a doctor, Jeff Stotts of InStreetClothes.com, a site specializing in sports injuries. And I'm gonna read you some of the article because it's very interesting. It's food for thought. 64% of all in-game ruptures in the NBA since 2005 happened in the second half of the game. That finding allows this report. Fatigue of overuse contributes to Achilles tendonitis and ruptures, according to the Cleveland Clinic and other studies. Cousins was coming off the best stretch of his career by his minutes total indicate it would also perhaps the most taxing. On Monday's phenomenal 44.23 rebound, 10 assist performance and double overtime win over Chicago, the 6'11", 270-pound center played a career-high 52 minutes. No player on either team played more than 47 minutes. Cousins tied for the highest total that any player has clocked in a game this season, along with, of course, Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. Cousins was clearly gassed after the game. You know, he made the commentary about getting into the fight with his strength coach because his strength coach asked him if he wanted to lift. Remember that? Well, anyway, it said the marathon outing may have been particularly grueling because he had been pushing his body into uncharted territory. Heading into that game, Cousins had been averaging a whopping 40 minutes per game in his previous 10 contests. He played in 4 overtimes in a 9-day span. In summary, January was Cousins' most taxing month of the career. In months with at least 5 games played, he registered career highs 38 minutes per game. Friday's game was Cousins' 4th in 7 days. Of course, through the annals of NBA history, plenty of centers like Cousins' enormous size has averaged 40 minutes per game. If they could take it, why can't today's big men? Goes into that. Then it basically tells you, breaking it down, gives a really good account of what the article says about the overuse. This guy, Tom Haberstroh, does have a point. He does have a point. He laid it out, even put the medical statistics to it, dealing with rupture attendees. DeMarcus Cousins has been playing ridiculous amount of minutes, which goes to show that many nights, if you look at the rotations only went 8 players. Well, they used 3 players off the bench or 4 players off the bench. And more than likely, he always used guards to take guards out because he rotates guards no matter what size they are. You'll have guys like Jameer Nelson to come in, Ian Clark that'll come in. He'll rotate the guards, but if you know about the bigs, you'll bring Dante Cunningham off the bench. Very rarely did he use Sheik Diallo. Very rarely did he use Amir Asik. The bigs that back up the bigs. If who's Anthony Davis backup big, coming off the bench would be Dante Cunningham, who's not really a big. He's more like a small 40, 6'8". You have Sheik Diallo, who's 6'9", who doesn't play at all. Then you have a 7-footer who is a veteran who's played in starter minutes in the league for Chicago and Houston, who can play. Now that he's not an all-star, but he can contribute for the team that doesn't play any minutes, and he played 7 minutes last night only because he was forced to, but 7 funky minutes for this guy, and you just lost your other guy for the season. Stupid, man. So the point is, that's what L. Gentry was kind of giving that little jab at during the interview about, well, so be it if they're going to say that his injury was contributed to overplaying. Yeah, he overplaying his bigs because he's saying, he just told you in the interview, oh, well, that gives us the best chance to win. No, what gives you a better chance to win are playing your players and then giving them the proper amount of rest. And I agree with Tom Haberstroh. Kudos to you on this article right here about overplaying his bigs. Now, let's see if he plays Anthony Davis for the next 30-odd games at 40 minutes a game and see where that takes him. That kind of logic, well, you're going to just tank you. You're going to drain. You're going to destroy the team. You can't ride Anthony Davis for 40 minutes a game. Some games, yes, but not all games like he's been playing all these ridiculous amount of minutes. Now he has to pick up the slack for people that's not there. Anyway, let's move on to the next article because I could stay on that one for a full show. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, the Pelicans are looking to trying to make a deal. What kind of deals are what's out there right now? According to a lot of the rumors that's out there, we hear stuff from Michael Beasley. We hear stuff from Derek Favors, who Beasley is a backup small forward / power forward big for the Knicks, who's doing pretty good to him, averaging about 14, 15 points a game. His size can contribute. He can come in and help. I don't know if that makes you a legitimate guy, anyway. Then there's Maritovich, which is a lot of people's favorite, the Chicago small forward, power forward guy that can actually operate as a stretch big, who can shoot the ball pretty well. But they got other teams with better movable parts that that other teams could get him at a better deal than what we can offer. What's really killing us from making any deals, whether it's for people like Larry Nance or people like what else? What other trades are they happen out there? It's a bunch of different scenarios out there. Even Fournier, who's another scorer who you have to match his contracts, big contracts, Rodney Hood, people like that. Pelicans are really in a crazy situation when it comes down to those cap situations, to be quite honest with you, because they don't have the money to actually do what needs to be done to address the needs. So it's going to be interesting. We just have to keep an eye on what Dale Demps is going to do, because to be quite honest with you, that guy has his work really worked out for him to try to see if he can finesse a deal with the personnel and the contracts we have. Boy, I mean, we're going to have to see what he can do, what Dale can do about that. Let's preview the Sacramento Kings. We got a few minutes left to go before we preview the Kings. The Kings, of course, Pelicans averaging about 111 points a game, 110.7 points, opposition points, 48% from the field, 43% rebounding. 43 rebounds a game, 26 assists, 5 blocks, 7 steals. And they lost their streak got broken with that loss, and they're 7-3 the last 10 contests. Of course, you're looking at Sacramento coming here, averaging 98 points a game, giving up 106, 45% from the field, 40 rebounds a game, 20 assists a game, 4 blocks a game, 8 steals a game. Coming off a loss to the San Antonio Spurs, and they're 2-8 in the last contest. They are definitely struggling to make anything happen. Obviously, they are a team at 15-34, 8-20 away. This should be just what the Pelicans need to get going. They should be able to beat. Now, I say that they'll beat the Sacramento Kings and kind of stabilize themselves moving forward before they start their road trip. So I'm gonna swing that prediction toward the Pelicans, so they'll make a comeback win against a far less superior, a far less team that's better than them. This team is a bottom 3 worst team in the league, and they should be able to capitalize off of that. Anyway, that's the show. Thank you for listening to the Pelican postgame report tonight. Please, by all means, go and donate at www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and of course support our sponsors at theposhlifestyle.com. Remember, that's life spelled with a Y. I'm Big Q. Thank you for listening. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out theposhlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. POSHLYFESTYLE.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.